Good morning. Lots coming up on the show here today. We begin with Janice Luke, City Councillor in Waverly West. Janice, good morning.
Good morning, Hal. Good morning.
Well, the South Perimeter is open again now, but it was closed again this morning for a time. I know you recently met with the minister again. I saw your list of questions. Thank you for sharing those with me. You've given him almost a dozen questions awaiting answers. What's going on with especially the South Perimeter? This is my end of town too. It's frustrating. The perimeter's been closed so much this winter. The South Perimeter, what's new there? What's the new problem, or is there a new problem?
Well, it's not really a new problem, Hal. What's happened is, over the years, the past 4 to 5 years, there have been cutbacks in staffing, cutbacks in the mechanics who are repairing the equipment, and equipment has been reduced. So this is an international trade corridor, Hal. The city had salters out last night at 9 o'clock. That's when we started putting the salt trucks out. And, I'm a little passionate about this. I drive the perimeter every day. I see the carnage on the perimeter. My sister's over in St. James. She was telling me this morning there was a big crash on the bridge going over the Assiniboine. It's not acceptable. And the bottom line is there needs to be more maintenance people on the perimeter. It's very simple.
And I think preparation too, right? When we know we're going to get some weather like this, as you pointed out, the city had crews out earlier getting ready for this sort of preventative measures, and we don't seem to be seeing a lot of that from the province.
Well, you can prepare all you want, Hal, but if you don't have the people to go out and do the job, and if you don't have the equipment to do the job, you can prepare all you want. But, it's really not acceptable. The perimeter highway is a death trap. I know that a lot of money is going into upgrades at the intersections, and I'm very thankful for that. I'm very thankful to the province for that. But it will be a long time, probably not in your lifetime or mine, that the upgrades will be made to the highway portions of the perimeter. And until that happens, we need to put bigger Band-Aids on. There is no nighttime crew on the perimeter highway. They start at 4 a.m, and a lot happens at night, Hal. It gets cold, bridges freeze over, roads get icy. But if you just don't have the bodies to be out there doing it, it's not going to happen.
Does the minister at least acknowledge that there's an issue or several issues here as you await the answers to your almost 12 questions? I think it's 11 questions.
Well, it was a great conversation with the minister. I was very appreciative to have the conversation with the minister. And you know me, Hal, I was very frank. I was to the point because, I can die on the perimeter or I can make this a political hill to die on. And I've chosen to make it a political hill to die on, I guess. But he is very aware. He listened to me and did acknowledge that it is challenging to find staff. I pointed out, look, why don't you hire contractors? Just get some crews in there when you need it. If you don't feel you need it all the time in the summertime, if you don't feel you need 24/7 maintenance on an international trade corridor, then contract out. But there seemed to be a feeling that it was hard to find staff. So, I'm going to keep on this, Hal. It's a very important issue. We've got the highest volume of traffic on the South Perimeter. I've been driving for 35 plus years. We are growing through immigration. A lot of my friends that come from other countries have never driven in winter conditions. There's a lot of issues here, and if we don't have the roads maintained, I heard this morning on the morning show that 511 wasn't updated.
Right.
You drive down to the States, you see reader boards, you see lit up boards talking about the condition. I mean, that's important. It's important to communicate the condition, and it's not happening.
Mm-hmm. I want to get your reaction to a text message that I just got here, Janice, at 204-780-6868. Hal, I work away from home. I spend a lot of time on Manitoba highways. I'm all over the province. The way our highways are maintained is absolutely horrible, this winter especially. I work in heavy construction. The majority of our work is actually for Manitoba infrastructure as a contractor. The whole department should be privatized. I see so many silly decisions that cost us taxpayers big money. I truly think the department needs a complete overhaul. It's sad the perimeter highway was closed this morning. Unnecessary.
Well, I think the perimeter gets closed, Hal, because there's not enough maintenance to keep it up. I don't remember in all my years, my decades of living along the perimeter, of it ever being closed this many times. Absolutely, we had horrible winter. Absolutely. But you know how climate change is happening. There's conditions that arise on short notice. If and I'm not going to go down the path of should it be private, should it be all contracted, should it be, public service. City has a balance. It's about 50-50. That's what I think the province should do. I'm not in that department. I know they've had a high turnover of deputy ministers. There's some challenges for sure. But we're talking life safety. It's an international trade corridor. Centerport is growing like it's wonderful that Centerport is growing. But we're talking huge semi-trailer, truck trailers on a driving. It's wonderful that Centerport is growing, but we're talking huge semi-trailer, truck trailers driving on a perimeter that was designed using 1950 engineering because it was built in 1960. So it's going to cost hundreds of millions of dollars to get it to where we want, but in the meantime, we have to put bigger Band-Aids on it.
Kevin, in a text message at 204-780-68, it's the Hal and Janice show here on CJOB, by the way. Kevin says maybe people just need to slow down out there on streets and highways, not just the south perimeters. Is speed a part of the issue here?
Well, it's a trade corridor, right? It's, 100 kilometers an hour, 120 kilometers an hour on the perimeter?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure, you could slow it down. I mean, there's a whole sort of thought wave on slowing down trade corridor. And maybe that could be the case. Maybe if we had reader boards up there flashing, saying, slow down, conditions are serious, something like that, maybe that would work, right? To remind folks. I know driving down to Minneapolis, you see all kinds of reader boards and information on highway conditions. The one that was on the south perimeter was not working for months on end by the bridge over the Red River. So I don't know. You know what, Hal? It's not acceptable. It's just not acceptable, and I feel very strongly about it. I drive the perimeter every day. I see this carnage that's happening. You can see, I sent you an incredible map of where the high collisions and the accidents occurring. It's all on the south perimeter. You talk to the Manitoba Trucking Association. It's the highest volume of vehicles on any section of the perimeter. I'm very appreciative that the province is doing the intersection upgrades and that they've fixed Brady Road, but there's the pieces in between, and there's just a lack of maintenance. There's a lack of winter maintenance.
Well, I checked with Richard Cloutier, and Richard and Julie Buckingham on the news here on CJOB a while back talked to the minister, and the minister said he would get back on several questions that he was not able to answer. Richard tells me he has not heard back from the minister, and you're waiting to hear back from the minister, so good luck. Let us know if you hear back from the minister. I'd be interested to see his answers to your questions, Janice. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thank you very much, Hal. Thanks. It's a serious concern, and I really appreciate you highlighting it. Thank you.